Who is in the admissions office? How does it work? Who does what?
Okay. So I'm the director, and I oversee the whole office. Meg Bennett is our Director of Financial Aid and the Associate Director of Admissions. So she oversees all of the financial aid distribution. She also oversees our feeder school relations. So like places like the Riley School, she'll make sure that they know about us and that we know about them, and that their kids that are going to a new school anyways are considering Kensal. Cindy McInerney is our senior associate. She oversees our events, our parent program, and does a lot of consultant work. Anna Iredale is our marketing guru. She does all our advertising, social media, a lot of website stuff. Wilbur G oversees our visit program, so make sure that every family that visits has a wonderful experience. And that includes making sure the tour guides are here and ready and excited. And then Jason Hersom is the Director of Communications, and he sits within the admissions office. He does some interviews, but mostly oversees the whole school is on message and on brand. And then I don't remember if I mentioned Nancy Feeney, but she is our office manager. She oversees that everything is working well in the database, all our mail, phone calls, all that stuff.
So she kind of handles the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, if she were not here, everything would fall apart.
Okay. How many students apply to Kensal each year?
About 300.
And how many of those 300 are accepted?
So between 70 and 80%. And the important thing, whenever I talk about that percentage in board reports and things like that, is to really talk about the fact that we counsel a lot of families out in the beginning of the process, so that we're not having a kid go through the process that we know is not going to be a good fit for us because we can't support them in the learning center, or their English level is not where it needs to be. We try not to inflate those numbers.
Okay. Then how many would you say would look at Kensal School and not apply?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So we count inquiries, and actually, let me look at exactly how many inquiries we had. Inquiries have changed a lot in the past 10 years. So in 11-12, which is our last full year, we had about 1,200 inquiries, and actually 350 applications. So it's a little bit higher than I told you. The problem with inquiries is that, and every school is seeing this, is that now that people can go online and do all their research, they're not actually inquiring at the school. So we call them ghost applicants. They do all of their research without us ever knowing they exist. And the first time we hear from them is that we get a completed application. So colleges are seeing that, and all of the prep schools are seeing that too. So it's hard to say how many kids totally are looking at us, but it's definitely more than we know about.
Okay. Thank you. What countries do a lot of the student body come from?
Yeah, so 18 total in the student body. Our largest country represented is China, and then our other countries that have more than one student would be Germany, Spain, Korea, Japan, Mexico. We have 2 or 3. So, and then we have a wide variety of countries that we're really trying to bring more students from.
Okay. What is the process for admissions to Kensal?
So every person who applies has to fill out a completed application, which includes the application, which they can now do online, and then in that application they have 3 essays that they have to do. They have 3 teacher recommendations, required interview, and a transcript. And then we strongly encourage testing, which would a standardized test, which would be an SAT or an SSAT. And then the students who are applying for the Learning Center submit their educational evaluation.
Okay. All right. Is there an ideal student for Kensal School?
Yes, there is. We look for students who really want to be here and really want to be involved in the Kensal community and that have the potential to really excel here.
Okay. Do grades enter into that, or do sports enter into that?
I would say all of it enters into that. We really try to look at the whole student. We know that grades don't necessarily describe a student. Their testing doesn't. Sports they play doesn't. So we really want to get students or look at the whole student through the process. Certainly the interview is really important. You'll look at a kid's transcript and it's pretty abysmal, and you meet them and they really sparkle, and you know it's going to be a great Kent Hill kid.
Okay. Does any other department, the athletics department, the theater department, history, another academic department, do they have any weight on the admissions process?
They don't really have weight on the admissions process, although we really try to get them involved in the admissions process. So we try to ask them to reach out to potential applicants, to bring to our attention potential applicants, and to meet with every student that visits campus that's interested in their area of expertise.
Okay. What scholarship options are available for students applying to Kent Hill? I'm not sure scholarship's the right word for it.
Yeah. So, well, it kind of is. So we have a $2.3 million financial aid budget. The financial aid that we give out is need-based. So families have to qualify for our financial aid. And then we try to meet their need as best as possible. We do have some named financial aid, so there are people, like for example, my parents have a named scholarship, but it comes out of the endowment, so it's part of the financial aid budget. We are introducing a new scholarship, not this coming year, but the following year, and it's going to be called the Maine Scholars Award, and that will be a merit-based scholarship.
Okay. Well, you just kind of knocked out my next question. My next question was how much financial aid is given to new students, but...
So so we have a $2.4 million budget, and that's 22% of the net operating budget. And it depends on how many new returning students we have on financial aid, but like this year we have about $900,000 for new students.
Okay. Excuse me. Do we accept or offer external scholarships given by a government prize or an organization that gives a student $2,000 or $5,000, however much? Do we accept that money, or do we do it
We do. So we
else?
have a couple of different external scholarship programs. One is called the Maine Community Foundation, and they have what's called the Challenger Fund, so that's funded within their organization, and then they give us the money to use it for students that fit their criteria. And so that's about $26,000 a year.
Okay.
And then we have a scholarship given to us by the Methodist Church, and that's it's about $1,000 scholarship, and students have to apply for that.
Okay.
They have to be members of the Methodist Church.
Okay.
So.
And the final question is, why do most applicants apply to Kent Hill School? Why not Hebron or Hyde or Gould? Why do they come here instead of other places?
Well, I think a lot of applicants are applying to a number of different schools. We get very few that are just applying to Kent Hill, so they are looking at not necessarily those schools, but other schools that we cross over with. I think that students ultimately choose Kent Hill because they feel very comfortable here. When they visit, they know that they'll be valued, they feel at home here, and they just feel like it's the right fit for them.
Okay.
So.
All right. Actually,